All right, guys, what is up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And we're going to be talking about XDefiant's post-launch content in this one because, well, the game, hopefully its release date will be on the 17th. And if that is the case, then we just have about 2 weeks or so to wait and a lot of exciting times to be had. So, and we know that we're going to be getting post-launch content in the form of 3 maps. And like every 3 months, we're going to be getting like 3 maps, 3 weapons, there's going to be game modes, and there's going to be factions. So I kind of want to go into that because this game kind of tries to be its own thing, despite the fact that there are a lot of similarities with, let's say, a classic Call of Duty arcade first-person shooter. But at the same time, it is establishing its own identity. It wants to do things a specific way, which is why there's a certain game mode like Team Deathmatch that is not exactly coming to launch. There is S&D coming after that, but so anyway, well, we started with game mode, so we might as well just start there, right? So with game modes, I've said it time and time again, I think it's a mistake that Team Deathmatch, a classic Team Deathmatch, is not coming at launch, but hopefully they might either surprise us or hopefully we might get that a little bit later on down the road. I think that's something that is an absolute necessity. Team Deathmatch is pretty much a mode that pretty much everybody knows about in every single first-person shooter out there. And despite the fact that this game is actually rooted in objective play because of the factions and stuff like that, I still think that there is a place for Team Deathmatch. And of course, my personal request is a free-for-all. And of course, we do know that there's an S&D-like game mode coming, basically to where you only have 1 life. And they're probably going to put their own take on it, if anything. So it's not going to, it may or may not be like the S&D that people from Call of Duty are very much aware of, right? So basically at this point, search and destroy is a staple in Call of Duty, as well as, like, for instance, in CSGO, they have their own version of search and destroy. Valorant has its own version. So I think XDefiant can certainly take advantage of that, especially with the factions, with its abilities and stuff like that. So that's going to be very interesting to see later on down the road. So with that being said, what kind of game modes do you guys want to see? Because they're making, it's going to be like a hybrid. Whatever they introduce later on as far as game modes are concerned, it's going to be like hybrids of classic game modes. So I wonder what you guys want to see when it comes to that. I'm really curious. So yeah, let me know down in the comment section. Now, next up is weapons. We've got weapons that are coming. We know the G36C has kind of been rumored or leaked to be coming sometime post-launch, and we've already seen one weapon that is that was not in the beta build in the beta builds that we had for the closed and the open beta, that was in this little play session that they had for 6 hours a few days ago, and I think that's going to be very interesting. To see how that weapon is like at launch, because from what I've seen, that weapon it slaps. Let's put it that way. So so we know that the G36C is coming. We know that we've got more weapons coming post launch. So since this game is obviously being compared with Call of Duty, what kind of weapons do you want to see? Like I'm more familiar with assault rifles and SMGs now, and shotguns and snipers and stuff like that, simply because of Call of Duty. Because I played Call of Duty for like, I don't know, like I played Call of Duty for like a decade straight. So I became very familiar with weapons. It's like if I see this submachine gun, I'm like, okay, this is a Vector. If I see this gun here, I'm like, okay, that's a UMP. If I see this, I'm like, yeah, that's an MP5, or, you know, such and such. So, and it's all because of Call of Duty, go figure. So me, in terms of what I would like to see, like, I'm a big fan of excuse me, I'm a big fan of an AN-94. I love the AN-94 in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and I like the AN-94 in Black Ops 4, but again, I don't like it as much as I did in Black Ops 2, but overall, at the end of the day, it's still pretty much the same, very similar weapon, because I really love the iron sights and I like the fire rate of the gun. So I want to see a weapon a lot like that. I mean, for me, one of the biggest things that makes an assault rifle memorable for me is its iron sights. And for me, if you give me a crappy assault rifle with bad iron sights, and then all of a sudden you give me a variant of that hopefully I can grind for, but the iron sights are legit after that, then it's like, okay, then it's a lot more doable. And another specific request for me personally is, again, because this also seems to be an assault rifle game, even though the SMGs seem to do pretty well. I would say that another request for me would be a SCAR. I love the iron sights of a SCAR, and the SCAR always packs a punch. So I would like to see what they give us in terms of what the SCAR would be like. I would love to see a SCAR. And And yeah, so let me know down in the comment section what you would like to see. I'm also an SMG fan, but I mean, I'm not as much of an SMG fan as I am an assault rifle fan. So it's like whatever they give us for SMGs is perfectly fine. Could be anything. All right, so let's continue on. We've already yes, maps. So the Ubisoft universe, you know, among all the different games and stuff, is very wide, and Mark Rubin has already stated that he thinks that fans are literally going to be genuinely surprised as to where they go in terms of the variety, in terms of everything that we're going to be getting maps. So, and the one cool thing about the maps in this entire game is that they're all going to be new. It's not like they're going to be bringing back new maps from previous games. This is the first game. So all the new maps that we're going to get are actually going to be brand new content, actually. So I think there will be, like, if XDefiant in the future does have a sequel, obviously there's going to be a few maps from this game that are going to be brought back because they were so good, and so that's just the way the cookie crumbles with games like this. But if there's anything I got to say about maps, is that it would be really cool if we had like a smaller map in the game, like a smaller than all the other maps type of deal, to where again, it doesn't have to be a nuke town or anything like that, but I'm just saying Nuketown, Strike Zone, and Shoot House, and Shipment, and all that in Call of Duty to this day are still very popular maps because of them being small, and you've kind of got a little bit of chaotic gameplay and stuff like that, and really high-paced action. So I would like to see something like that with XDefiant. I think a lot of people would really like that. I think a lot of the people in casual play would really enjoy that, and I think that'd be really great. And of course, I think there's also going to be, like in a lot of competitive games today, there's not too many maps that are added into rotation post-launch. And I think XDefiant's actually going to, I think actually XDefiant is going to simply put, kind of to a certain extent, break the mold. I think that every 3 months, I think competitive and ranked is going to have at least one of the 3 new maps dedicated to their game modes as well. Not that they can't be played in casual, but I'm just saying I think that every 3 months that there's going to be a brand new map for competitive, and I think that's a good thing. You know, I think the pros can have something to look forward to, and at the end of the year they're going to have 4 additional new maps, which is quite a lot, because usually with pros there's only like 3 game modes that they play, or 4 at the most, and the maps aren't too very much. There's usually 6 maps that are played at the most. So I think that when you've got like more game modes added in, like the upcoming SND mode, and on top of that you've got a possibility of other game modes in rank that might come in, therefore you also going to need those maps to kind of back that up. So I think that's going to give the pro players a lot more to chew on in terms of content and in terms of what they have to master, and I think they could appreciate that. So with that being said, I'd like to know, like, what Ubisoft universe would you like to see that's going to be added into this game? I'm not nearly as familiar as some of you guys might be, so I'd really like to know what you guys think. And last but not least, we've got factions. So obviously, I can already see this coming. I know that there's likely going to be a Sam Fisher skin for the Splinter Cell faction, or the faction with the night vision goggles, so to speak. I can't think of what they're called at the moment, but you could definitely see that coming. I know there's going to be additional skins, but there's also going to be additional factions that are going to be coming in. And for every single faction that they're going to release, there's going to be another faction that's going to counter it. So let's say you have a new ability that's introduced with this faction, then the following faction that's going to be released is going to probably counter that one faction with its own abilities. So what specific abilities would you like to see? That's the big question. I'm really curious about that. So yeah, the footage is pretty much done for this video at this point. So I want to know, are you guys excited for the post-launch content? And what kind of weapons, what kind of maps, factions, all that kind of stuff would you like to see? Because I know you guys are fans, especially us Call of Duty refugees. I know you guys are a lot of fans of specific types of weapons, specific types of modes, or some kind of hybrid that you would like to see. I really want to know what you guys are cooking in your brain. Let me know down below. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys on the next one.